Hello, 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 hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, 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 welcome. Champions League game between Slavia Prague and Arsenal has just finished. 3-0 Arsenal. Wasn't the greatest watch, but we scored 3 goals. We got the job done. And of course, we are at the moment, at least for now, on top of the Champions League table. But that until obviously other teams play and we get the results. But overall, yeah, we got the job done. Cannot ask too many questions about that because I'm not gonna lie, I want to see some great performances, right? I want to see. Give me a sec. I want to see some good performances, attacking football, and all this good stuff. Obviously, at the same time, as long as we get wins, I'm not too fussed about it. Let's just put it that way. I'm not so fussed about it. At the same time, would be nice to see us actually playing some proper football. Would be very nice to see some proper football. But overall, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty damn good. Wait, give me a sec. Yeah. Okay, I did everything. So basically, yeah, Arsenal played in Champions League. It wasn't the greatest of watches, right? It wasn't the greatest of watches, but we got the job done. We did everything we should be doing. Give me a sec. My camera, I don't know what is happening. Whoa, there. My camera is doing a bit of a mazza. I didn't know that it would be possible, but here we are. But yeah, Arsenal won. Everything is great. Performance, as I said, wasn't the greatest, but we got the job done, and that has been kind of the imprint for most of the time. It wasn't the greatest performances, gameplay-wise and everything. It wasn't the greatest of performances. It wasn't nothing too exciting to watch. At the same time, we did great. We definitely did great. We got the job done. 3 points on the board. Merino scores twice. Mikel Merino has scored twice, starting at striker. Anush debuted in Champions League. Obviously, what's its face? Max Dowman as well, youngest player to ever play in Champions League as well, officially right now. Also debuted in Champions League, and as well had some players on toast, which is always nice to see. Let's be real, which is really, really nice to see. But yeah, people, we got the job done. That's what counts. So like the stream, subscribe, and we're gonna talk about it today. Big up Andrew. Big up Andrews. Slavia started lively. Yeah, they did definitely, but nothing really dangerous. Ref was a bit sus, but it's European Cups refereeing after all. Yeah, wasn't the greatest of refs as well for the game signed, so cannot complain too much in that regard. Let's just put it that way. Clean sheet, 3 points, 1 game at a time. Exactly, 1 game at a time. Plus, kind of annoying, but we faced a shot on target at the dying stages of the game, which is a bit iffy. It is what it is. But yeah, another clean sheet, which is quite fantastic to say the least. Top object, that's Dowman. That's Marlon. Big up Marlon. I think it's Who is top object? I think it's Marlon. Yeah, it's Marlon. Big up Marlon. Yeah, Dowman was great. Dowman was great. And Saka still has no assist. Saka hasn't had an assist, by the way, in Premier League specifically, almost for a year, which is kind of annoying. But we'll see. Maybe he will kick into gears. Like, with Saka, it was a weird game today. Like, for me, he didn't have the greatest of performances, but he was much more aggressive. He took some shots. He had about 6-7 shots on target, the most amount he has got on shots on target in his career per game, which means that he was a bit more aggressive. Yes, in some instances, he was diving too much, what it felt at least like that. But yeah, again, he was involved, but he wasn't involved too much, which is a bit annoying. Obviously, the hope is once Saka hits and Saka starts balling out, to say the least, the expectations are that we're going to do it, right? The expectations are that we're going to kick into another gear. That is the hope. Big up, Dre. Big up, Dre. Dreadily Flame. Big up, big up, big up. Hope you're doing well today. Rice has more assists than Saka. Yeah, but Rice also is mostly on free kicks, so we kind of can expect that. Yeah, thumbnail, like, let's be real. Come on, man. We can do this as well here. It's not like wait, where is it? Here it is. Here it is. You want to see it full screen? Here it is. Mikel Merino scores the brace. Good finish with his left foot and a good and random header, which I didn't expect him to score, but he scored without looking even at the goal. Obviously, goalkeeper fumbled it a bit, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Yeah, Rice is doing well. Big up Anfield, the Red. Obviously, big up Liverpool. Good luck against Real Madrid. Big game for you happening at the moment. We'll see what's going to happen. For me, I expect Real Madrid. I hope I expect Real Madrid to do something. I think both teams will score. Could be a draw, but I think Real Madrid might actually pip it. They are in a better form than Liverpool by a mile. Then again, Liverpool's last game in Germany, they won 5-1. So we'll see how that's going to go. Obviously, Trent is not playing. Trent is holding the bench. So it will be interesting to see what's going to happen in that regard. In other games in Champions League, currently, by the way, people, only game where there is a goal is PSG versus Bayern Munich. Luis Diaz has scored a goal for Bayern Munich, which is very interesting. The Bayern Munich are already 1-0 up. I just put that. Yeah, people, smash the likes and subscribe. We are 28 subscribers away from big 1,000. Big 1,000. So maybe very, very soon we can hit that with your help, people. So subscribe and like the stream. Not enjoying the game right now, dude. It's Real Madrid and you shouldn't. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. There's also some unfinished business with Ramos obviously injuring Salah on purpose, not on purpose. Obviously, opinions differ. But yeah, there is some unfinished business, definitely. When Gyökeres comes back, he still will still be main guy. The question is, when is he going to come back? That's the biggest thing. When is he coming back? Because Mikel Arteta said that he's not traveling to Prague. He hasn't trained. And today I'm reading from some random sources that Arsenal are still doing some scans. Also from Arsenal sources, outside of Arsenal sources, that Arsenal are still looking at some scans. They will be doing some scans to know the extent of the injury of Viktor Gyökeres. And basically the speculation what he could have is varying between 2-week injury, basically during international break, to having hamstrings. So go figure. Definitely go figure. We'll see what is what. You're definitely going to see in due time. Yeah, it's Marlon. I kind of figured that. Yeah, and yeah, Saka not being up to par is a bit worrying. I'm not going to lie. But if he kicks into gear, completely different story. It's to some extent it's a game changer for Arsenal because for so many years we have relied on Bukayo Saka to carry this team. Now it's up to the team to carry Bukayo Saka maybe to some extent until Saka actually gets back. So it will be interesting to see. Yeah. Liverpool are playing right now. Yeah, and PSG are losing. Exactly. And Sporting Lisbon has scored against Juventus. 1-0. Pedro Gonçalves has scored from Trincao's assist, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, it's not. It's Araujo has scored from Trincao's assist. Araujo has scored from Trincao's assist. 1-0 Lisbon Sporting, by the way, people. In my opinion, PSG is not the same without Donnarumma. That Chevalier guy ain't it. Well, he had a great season. Well, very, very good. Not even great, but very, very good season last year and the years before for Lille, obviously. And they signed him with expectations that Donnarumma actually will be leaving. He left. And I think definitely with Donnarumma leaving, PSG are missing something. They definitely have lost a tiny bit. Maybe the solidity defensively a bit more because Donnarumma was that last person in defense which could save them, and he had that ability. Let's be real, he had that ability to save them in rough spots. Chevalier doesn't possess that, in my opinion. Chevalier definitely doesn't possess that. Yeah, PSG are not the same without Donnarumma. How many goals has he scored this season so far? I'm talking about Saka. Let's look at this. Let's look at Bukayo Saka. What he has done this season. Bukayo Saka this season, in 13 games, he has 5 goals. That is what Bukayo Saka is saying right now. These are Bukayo Saka's stats. Where is it? Share screen. Here we are. There we land and all this stuff. Wrong at the stage. This one. Hey, give me Saka's stats. These are Bukayo Saka's stats. These are Bukayo Saka's stats this season. 8 games in Premier League, 2 goals. 3 games in Champions League, 2 goals. It's not updated yet, by the way. 2 games in Carabao Cup and 1 goal. So in 13 games, he has 5 goals. In 13 games, he has 5 goals, which obviously is not great. And we can even look a bit deeper into that. We can definitely look a bit deeper into that because if we go to last season, in 24-25 season, which for me at the moment is the most worrying part in all of this. You see, last year he got 6 goals, 11 assists, and he had those 11 assists by November before he got injured, by the way, by December, right? And as you can see, he's picking up points vaguely here or there. And here it is. Where is Premier League? Here is Premier League. And this is the time when he got the last assist. When he got hat-trick of assists against West Ham last year in the 30th of November was the last time Bukayo Saka had an assist in Premier League. So we are literally 26 days from this day looking forward from Bukayo Saka having no assists for a whole goddamn year in Premier League. And the nuts part is that he has game against Sunderland and then two more games to rectify this. Whether that's going to happen, I have no idea. But we need to get Bukayo Saka clicking. We need to get Bukayo Saka clicking because if he starts to click, it's definitely going to be another dimension. Yep, Sporting have scored. Sporting Lisbon have scored. Juventus are losing. Big up, Darren. Big up, Darren. Hope you're doing well. Why are all these big games at the same time? I have no idea. Why Champions League have scheduled to have about 3-4 big games at the same time is a very big and random question I genuinely don't have answer for at the moment. It's a very weird thing because you would expect, for example, on Wednesday to watch some games. But if you look at Wednesday's schedule, right, in Champions League, this is Champions League schedule for Wednesday. And tell me which games you are as excited about as some of the big games. These are the Champions League games on Wednesday. Tell me which one you are very excited about. Pafos versus Villarreal, Karabakh versus Chelsea, Ajax versus Galatasaray, Benfica versus Leverkusen, Brugge versus Barcelona, Inter versus Kairat. Only one, for me personally, is Man City versus Borussia Dortmund. That's the only one. There's Marseille-Atalanta and Newcastle versus Bilbao. There are no other exciting games. For me, it's just one game. And that, for me, is a big question. Why UEFA have scheduled that way? Why? Obviously, I know why, because of the stadiums, home and away games, and all this stuff. But it is a bit of a weird one. I'm not going to lie, it is a bit of a weird one because all the good games are happening right now. Bayern, PSG, Real Madrid, Liverpool, and some others. And that is a bit of a one. Have to be flip-flocking tabs like crazy. Well, you can do multi-screen or screen-in-screen, or you can have, for example, one game on PC, one on laptop, one on the pad, one on the phone, one on TV. You can have something like that going on. Spurs, Sunderland, man, why with these injuries, I'm trembling in my boot looking at these games. I'm not as of yet. I'm definitely not as of yet. It's just the question how we're going to manage the situation that Gyökeres is out. That, for me, is the big question mark. Yeah, PSG are not looking the same. PSG definitely are struggling, and they're not looking the greatest. Olympiacos have scored against PSV. 1-0 Olympiacos, by the way. What's going on with Gyökeres and 6 goals? We don't have anyone near 10 goals. Yeah, I know. Where was I reading this? Our attack is nowhere near elite, man. It is very good if the shackles are off, but it's very hamstrung at the moment. And we're going to play Sunderland, team who smack big teams. But we'll see. Time will tell. At the moment, it's very too early to judge. Maybe Sunderland we can talk about a bit more, but Spurs is way too long ahead. It's in 3 weeks. Way too early to judge. Saka either trying to preserve himself or he's still limited by that hamstring. And that, for me, is the biggest question mark, which I don't know, it's one or the other, or maybe it's both. Maybe it is both, right? Either Saka is still injured and he feels maybe the consequences of the injury at the end of the day, which is maybe slowing him down a tiny bit because you can see that he is not tracking back to as much to a certain extent. He is not, he's a bit diving out of tackles. He's not indulging into those too much as well at times, right? He's falling easier to the ground. Maybe that's as well. Or it's a mental block, one or the other, or maybe both. And yes, as Anfield already saying, Spurs have scored. 1-0 to the Spurs. Damn it, Copenhagen, you had one job. Brennan Johnson has scored from Javi Simons's assist. 1-0 Tottenham. 1-0 to the Spuds. But yeah, people. Yes, today's game, I didn't expect much. I expected something very similar we saw on the pitch. Let's just put it that way, right? When Yuri started, which was great, but he didn't have the best of games. Merino started up top, which I expected. Let's be real. I maybe wanted to try Anush up there, but he came on anyways. He also debuted in Champions League. Max Dowman debuted in Champions League, which was great. Youngest player in Champions League history right now. And also by a mile compared to Adeyemi, who was the youngest. I think the difference is almost like 6 months or 7 months or something like that. But overall, yeah, I didn't expect a very exciting game. Slavia actually tried to throw us a challenge in early stages, but obviously they just fell. They disappeared. Arsenal got about 7 corners in span of like 10 minutes. We didn't score from a corner. We got a penalty from a corner, which Bukayo Saka brilliantly put away, put us 1-0 up. Then early second half, Merino scores. Great pass by Trossard, 2-0. And then Merino gets a Declan Rice assist goal. And Declan Rice with that assist, that was a brilliant assist by Declan Rice. We don't see that from pretty much any other player in our team doing those things. We don't see it too much. Declan Rice was fantastic today as well. Big up Diablo. Big up Diablo. Hope you're doing well. Another good night away. Yeah, 3 points. That's what matters at the end of the day. Because I don't give a damn how we are playing at the moment, given that it's not eye-pleasing, it's not all type of football, it's not Wenger ball and all this stuff, as long as we win, right? The thing is, though, if we keep playing like this still the same way when shit hits the fan, let's just put it that way, and we maybe lose a game or two, or we start to struggle, then I will be worried. Let's be real. At the end of the day, performances don't matter as long as we win. The thing is, though, will at some point the performances catch up to the results, or the results will catch up to the performances, one or the other. And obviously, we hope for the most positive outcome in this situation. That is the big question. Not quite of the rotation right yet, and dare I say, our second team isn't quite there yet as well. Yeah, they obviously don't play a lot. Maybe there are some players who play more, like Merino, for example. Skelly plays more, although he didn't play too much today as well. There are players from the bench who play a bit more, like 2-3, but most of them don't play pretty much at all, unless it's a cup game and stuff like that. And you can see the rust, by a mile as well. We saw that against Brighton. We saw that today as well. But the more chances they get, like even these games, right, the bigger are our chances that once their name is called upon, even during the season, that we're going to get the job done. We're going to get it over the line. And it's going to be a positive outcome long-term in the end for Arsenal. We just need to get them into gear. And it's very hard to do when you mostly play these type of games and until the game is decided, you don't make subs. Like, it is a bit of a rough one. Let's just put it that way. You have predicted the past 2 games, Robo. You're quite good at it. I wouldn't say quite good. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't say quite good. But I don't know. Sometimes it happens, sometimes I feel it, sometimes it hits me, sometimes I put it also to good use, sometimes I just get it wrong. But so far, based on how Arsenal are playing, yeah, it's a very safe bet to put it like 2-3-0 Arsenal, especially against smaller teams. The thing is, though, we have come to a stage, which is very nuts even to think about as an Arsenal fan, right? But we have come to a stage where we are kind of stressed even about clean sheets these days. Because when Ben White made that Kung Fu Panda type of challenge, and obviously he got the ball, hence why it wasn't a penalty, but if that was a penalty, I was a bit stressed that we might actually lose our clean sheets, which is kind of mad even to think about. But the Arsenal play the way they play. We keep the clean sheets quite consistently. The nuts part about all of this is that at the end of the day that you get used to it. You get used to it and you get accustomed to it and you expect more of it. It's like winning breeds winning, which means clean sheets. You expect more clean sheets at the end of the day. And I was a bit stressed that they're going to get a penalty and our clean sheets are going to get ruined, which is kind of nuts. I never thought I would come to such a stage. And PSG have scored. Ousmane Dembele has scored. Fabian Ruiz with the assist. It's PSG 1, Bayern Munich 1. PSG have scored. No surprise, they're playing a no-name team. Who are playing a no-name team? Rice was good today. Very, very good. Another great, like for me, Rice back-to-back man of the match performances. Like that is a very good signing. Sign. Anush getting more minutes. I hope he gets the experience to be Gyökeres's backup. Maybe long-term. Anush is also very young, isn't he? Anush is what? How long? He's not that old. He's what, 18, 17? He's 17 years old, and he already is getting a kick in the Arsenal's main team. For a few games, he started against Brighton, by the way. Don't forget that. He comes on in Champions League at striker as well. Obviously, these were low-risk teams, and to some extent low-risk games when the results already had been decided. Let's just put it that way. Would Arteta prompt to subbing on Anush if it still was 0-0? No, he would. Let's be real. He would not, right? At the same time, the more minutes he gets, the more confidence he gets, I will not be opposed for him to play more games. I will not be opposed to him getting more minutes, more games, and being more involved into these scenarios. Let's just put it that way. And Max Dowman came on again, debuted as PSG goal cancelled, by the way. It was offside. PSG goal cancelled. Max Dowman came on, and he was cooking. He was cooking. Yes, he needs to build up the physical part of his game. He needs to bulk up and get stronger, right? But ultimately, besides that, touch immaculate, dribbling immaculate. They couldn't handle him as well, just like Brighton couldn't. And it's also many, again, advantages to Arsenal and many good plus points, pros into Max Dowman's garden to make an even bigger case for him to maybe play some Premier League games as well, long term. So it will be interesting to see how Arteta manages that as well. It's been a good 3 years since we had a striker from the academy. Well, if you count Nketiah, then yeah. Or if you are a gal, you would think Van Persie is the best attacker from Arsenal's academy. Yeah, Declan Rice definitely is cooking. It's a silly thought, but they actually want us to concede at the moment. I just want to see if it's a good side versus us, like Haaland's goal, or half a worldly, half mistake like Szoboszlai's, or a Bozo moment. I get it. I also understand that this clean sheet stuff is not going to last. At some point, we will have to concede. The question for me is against who and when, right? And how it's going to go down. Will we be totally outplayed? Will it be another moment of brilliance, as you say, like it was against Szoboszlai? Or will be our mistake? Like unexpected one, right? And everything, time only will tell, personally. But at the moment, I'm not too worried. The thing is, though, when we play these type of games, when we try to rotate our defense or play some players who are not playing as much, those are the games where I most fear the clean sheets, right? Because the players are not into gear, they are not into form, and they are, well, basically on and off. They are like unproven as of yet. They're not. They don't have the stamina, fitness, and everything. Those are the biggest question marks for me. Hence why, for example, when we played against Brighton, right, I was worried because we had a defense that doesn't play a lot together. They were not playing too much together. Same goes for the midfield that was covering them. And you saw if they had Danny Welbeck up top instead of Pirou or someone like that in the first half, there's a big possibility they could have scored. All right. So yeah, for me the worry is when we basically sub in or start these players who don't get a lot of minutes. I have more trust in Saliba and Gabriel. And by the way, speaking on Saliba, did we actually see today Saliba playing midfield at some points, like him being actually like a number 6, number 8 type of player, or was it just me? Or literally, was it just me? Because it felt a bit weird. He got more than Butler, Deji, Beard, and Belgan Gamando. Yeah, without shadow of a doubt, he got more money, more game time, more moments, and on top of all that, he scored a hat-trick against Sunderland. Or was it Wimbledon? No, it was Wimbledon. He scored a hat-trick against Wimbledon, I think, or Sunderland. One of those two teams. He scored a hat-trick, the last hat-trick I think Arsenal player has scored. So that is kind of nuts when you speak on Eddie Nketiah in that regard. Sorry. Mosquera Hincapie duo had guys unlocked. Yeah. Hincapie also. Hincapie, I have still question marks. I have very big question marks about Hincapie. Obviously, he was injured, so he didn't get much game time. He needs to kick into gear. He needs to build up some confidence into this team, adjust to the league, to the team, and all this stuff. But yeah, as good as he was, there were very big Bozo moments as well from him. And I don't mean Bozo moments as in open play, but in certain situations. Let's just put it that way. Kelly played midfield too. Yeah, it's weird today. It was. How's Hincapie? He seems a bit cautious to make those runs. He is, because I think Hincapie also does not have the freedom Calafiori has. I think Calafiori has specific instructions how we are playing with him. With Hincapié, we cannot do that because Hincapié kind of doesn't fit the same profile as Calafiori. And if you didn't know, by the way, Calafiori used to be a striker earlier in his career. So maybe there's something playing into that as well. Maybe. Seems more like basically, yeah, he's playing center back, left back. He's more of a dad than actually being a forward thinking left back. Learning to respect academy players he would beat if he would not play that. It's actually weird. It's something that we were been talking about what it feels like for centuries, but it's just a few years because we have seen how good our academy players can be. It's just a shame that they don't get those chances. Right? We all can see that Dowman is good enough to get minutes. We all see that Vigneri is good enough to get minutes, although he didn't have a good game today. Let's be real. Skelly was sublime last year. And at the moment, they cannot get a kick of the game, cannot get a kick of the ball on the pitch. They cannot. And if we look even before that, in the last 2 years, we have cut, 30-something players from our academy, and that includes players like not cut or sold, basically, or let them go for free. Players like Bielret, Rosiak, and all these guys, right? Because they're Dewberry and everything. Like, it's actually kind of nuts when you think about what they could do for our team, potentially, right? We have to take hypotheticals as always. No, there's no penalty for Liverpool. No penalty for Liverpool. Dowman is better than big part of our attack, definitely. Without shadow of a doubt, Dowman at the moment feel at least the technical ability-wise and skill-wise, he is better. The thing is, with Dowman, he lacks maybe that a bit of maturity, and he lacks the physical aspect of the game. And I think that at the moment is his biggest downfall because he gets shoved off the ball too easily. However, despite that, he can still go into battles, into duels, and on top of all that, defenders have no idea how to handle him. Because as soon as he gets the ball, as soon as he starts dribbling, right, they have no other excuse but to foul him. They just instantly foul him because they cannot cope with the ability he has to dribble with the ball, which is actually quite insane. The footballing IQ and the ability on that guy is absolutely insane. The question is just, how quickly will he rise? Will he be bedded into the team, or very, very soon we might see him much, much more into the team? It's just the question how we basically adapt him to the main squad over time. Yeah, Dowman is a baller, to say the least. Yeah, it's going to be nuts. Possible penalty at Anfield. For who? For who? Real Madrid or Liverpool? I assume Liverpool because Andrew said pen for Liverpool, right? VAR review. Could it be a penalty for Liverpool? Could they go 1-0 up? That is the big question. That is the big question. Give me a sec. I'm looking for something. Obviously, let's look at some stats because, well, we can. Let's just put it that way. Let's look at a tiny bit of the stats of the game because we have to. We kind of have to. 2-0 Bayern Munich, by the way. 2-0 Bayern Munich. Luis Diaz once again, and Dembele is injured. Lee Kang-in has come on. Lee Kang-in has come on for Ousmane Dembele. I actually can share this with you, by the way. Share this tab. Here we go. 2-0. 2-0 Bayern Munich. Diaz has scored twice. Dembele's goal was offside, and 3 minutes later, he got injured. Lee Kang-in has come on for him, by the way. Lee Kang-in has come on for him. We are 33 almost minutes in. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, back to this. Back to reality. Back to life. Back to reality and all this stuff, of course. Juventus have scored. The goals are starting to come thick and fast. Dusan Vlahovic has scored against Sporting Lisbon. 1-1. They have equalized. But yeah, back to Arsenal. So looking at the stats, Arsenal obviously dominated in pretty much everywhere, right? Pass accuracy, less fouls, possession by a mile, shots on target. How Slavia Prague managed to get 3 shots on target it's actually kind of nuts to think. I didn't even clock that they got 3 shots on target. Did they count like random deflections towards the goal as shots on target? I kind of don't get it. But yeah, 7 corners all in first half, and we did nothing. But yeah, at the moment, as you can see, this is the live table. This is the live table of Champions League, at least top of the live table. Should have been doing Bayern's scary thumbnail from now on. Yeah, basically. Well, we should be doing Bayern is scary with hashtag, like last year, pray for Bayern. We should be doing that. Well, 2 years ago, when we did pray for Bayern, we should be doing that, right? But yeah, at the moment, Arsenal are sitting second in the table. No goals conceded, obviously. Inter Milan is the only other team who have not conceded a goal in Champions League as of yet. They're going to play tomorrow, so we'll see what's going to happen then. Real Madrid also has a chance to go on the same points as us. Real Madrid, if they win the game against Liverpool, right? If they win the game against Liverpool, they have a chance to go on the same points as us. So we'll see how that's going to go. We'll see how that's going to go. We'll definitely going to see. But at the moment, yeah, Bayern Munich are 2-0 up, by the way. It's 2-0, not 1-0, first of all, as it shows 1-0 there, but it's 2-0. But yeah, Arsenal are in that top 8, which is very, very nice and very chill and calm. And yeah, here is Slavia Prague. They could be, depending on how these games turn out, be again in the 30s. They could be lower end 30s. But Arsenal currently are sitting second in the table. But yeah, this is the starting 11 and the game that the team that played the game. For me, the biggest worry was Declan Rice. For this game, was Declan Rice, because Declan Rice had 2 yellows already. Declan Rice had 2 yellows already. And he was in the similar spot like Zubimendi. If he got another yellow, he would miss the Bayern Munich game. Luckily, he did not get a yellow, and he will be available for the Bayern Munich game. But Norgard, Merino, Vangieri, all of them got yellows. I think Skelly got a yellow as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Skelly as well got a yellow card. But ultimately, yeah, very good, solid, strong performance by the guys. 3 points on the board. We are again in top part of the Champions League group stage. And it looks like if we basically are through as the top 8 team. Kind of very nuts to say this early, right? Since we still have to play Bayern Munich at home. We have to play Inter Milan away. But we obviously have Club Brugge away. We have Kairat Almaty at home. So I expect us to win at least, 2 of those games. First things first against Brugge and Kairat. And I expect us to get at least 1 or 2 points against the rest of the teams, Inter Milan and Bayern Munich. Which at the end of the day, for me, means that we are going to go through as the top 8 team. As a top 8 team to basically get the job done and automatically qualify for the round of 16 or whatever it is. It's a clear pen. Oh, VAR Drid are back again. Should we be doing? Yeah, they're big dogs. Yeah, Bayern Munich are the team to beat at the moment, without shadow of a doubt. Bayern Munich, if Bayern Munich win this game, they are 14, 15 games unbeaten, and they have played those 14, 15 games this season. There's a big possibility that by the time they're going to play Arsenal in Champions League, throughout all competitions, they might be unbeaten, which is kind of nuts to think about. Big up AFC always. Hope you're doing well. Nice to see that you are feeling better as well, my guy. Nice to see that you're doing better. We only need 1 more win in the Champions League for the knockout stages. Yeah, and given that we still have to play a team like Kairat Almaty in January, it's a safe. I don't want to say this, but you would expect them to beat them. It's a safe bet that we're gonna do it, right? So yeah, if we get 3 wins, we're gonna be top 8 without shadow of a doubt. Yeah, Bayern are cooking 2-0. Atletico Madrid are about to score, and Juventus could actually score in a second. I hope. Well, they are on form. Bayern Munich are on form, and they're gonna be a rough one to play. Seems like company really clicked with this Bayern, but I don't share the sentiment of people going off about unstoppable Bayern. Yeah, I get it. At the moment, it's similar like with Arsenal. Arsenal also, they feel unstoppable because of our good defense. Bayern Munich have won all the games they have played this season so far. So they also, it feels like they seem like an unstoppable team at the moment. The question is what's going to happen when they actually do, when they lose and how they bounce back. Yeah, Bayern are cooking. PSG are just bad at the moment. PSG are not it, to say the least. And Dembele is injured as well, by the way. Julian Alvarez has scored for Atletico Madrid to put them 1-0 up, by the way. VAR Madrid, so it begins once again. Big Up Fusion is not jazz. Big Up Fusion is not jazz. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. General Merino. Exactly. General Merino. Merino Nazario. Merino Nazario. Today scores up brace for Arsenal. I hope that's there. Big up Sacks. Big up Sacks. Hope you're doing well. Only thing Merino did was score those goals. Yeah, but he scored those goals. He scored 2 goals, which is also nice. Dude was absent otherwise. Yeah. The dance part is, and let me know in comments. Do you agree with this take? We should not play Merino in the midfield. We should just use Merino as the secondary striker option, because the guy who has never played a striker role before since he came to Arsenal is doing better at striker, well, than most of the strikers we have had under Mikel Arteta, ironically enough. Let me know what you think about that. I urge people to not focus on that Bayern game. Sunderland is next. Yeah, we are not focusing. We are just talking about it because it's happening live right now. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. Internationals, we get there, we deal with that one game at a time. Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, it is one day at a time. And you don't know what's going to happen against Sunderland. You don't know what's going to happen during international break and what's going to happen against Spurs even. One unlucky tackle, one unlucky injury, one slip up, and like whole dynamic of Arsenal's season can change just like that. Like that is the big issue here. Kompany is just a passenger. Well, kind of feels that way, but to be honest, for a team to click like that in attack, you have to be somewhat good, let's be real. Bayern are not unstoppable, but definitely it seems like that. Yeah, PSG are cooked. Maybe Mikel Merino can win the Ballon d'Or next year. Maybe Mikel Merino can win the Ballon d'Or. Is he tough there? And we may say the same about Alonso too, but he seems to be doing well in Madrid at the moment. Well, with Madrid, it's a bit different, isn't it? With Madrid, the fans, they're going to kick him in the nards if he does something wrong. Send Vinny off. Vinny should be sent off, a yellow for a foul in the 23rd minute, and it should be a second yellow. Well, it's Real Madrid. It's Real Madrid. Not the first time, not the last time. People say they have something going on there. Sometimes it feels that way. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it definitely feels that way, but it's Real Madrid, so it is what it is. Maybe there's too much respect from the referees towards Real Madrid. You could also maybe look at that. So go figure. Genuinely go figure. Last year, this Real Madrid did nothing against us at the end of the day. We were sublime against them, to say the least. Obviously, this season, it would be a different story, without shadow of a doubt as well. But yeah, it's actually kind of nuts. Champions League at the moment is cooking, it's actually kind of wild. But yeah, people, do you want to do player ratings for Arsenal? People in the chat, you want to do player ratings for Arsenal? I wasn't planning to, but if you are all down for that, we can do it. We definitely can do player ratings for Arsenal. You want to do it? Let me know. Let me know. This ain't no way the same Madrid they smacked Barca like it was nothing. Well, go figure. Monaco have scored 1-0 against Bodo Gimps. Balogun has scored, by the way. Folarin Balogun has scored for Monaco, people. Another striker that used to be at Arsenal is not here anymore, sadly. Yeah, okay. I love Saka, but he's not proper captain. Yeah, for me as well. Saka should not be the captain without shadow of a doubt. For me, it's Rice or Gabriel. Let's do the ratings. I thought you are not doing PR about. What do you mean PR? What PR? We're gonna do the player ratings. Is that called PR these days? What the hell? What the hell? Let's do the ratings. Not the ratings. See, some people want it, some people don't want it. But let's do some ratings. Why not? Why not? Let's do some ratings. Starting off with David Raya in goal. Again, another game where he basically has to do, well, nothing. Let's be real. It's not the first time. By the looks of things, it won't be the last time. Right? So I'm going to give David Raya, well, I don't know, 6? I'm going to give David Raya 6 because he had to do nothing. That's the nuts part. Yes, he caught some balls. He did some ball distribution at the end of the day. He made some errors, but overall, yeah. For me, I don't know. It's just a regular 6, I guess. Regular 6. PR player rating, isn't it all? What about these days? I don't know. I have no idea. I do player ratings sometimes, but I don't do them all the time. I have done it before consistently. I stopped because I didn't see a point in it, but on occasion we can do it. Why not? Just for the fun. Fusion is saying 7 for David Raya because of Arteta, him and Anush backups. Yeah. Marmoush, the triple save. Damn. Marmoush with the triple save. Holy moly. Raya did make a fluke at the end, yeah. Somehow he pulled the Ramsdale, basically. He got bored, so he created for himself some sort of excitement. Kind of feels like that. Somehow it feels like that. Bayern are only 2-0 up. They are not 3-0 up. Bayern Munich are 2-0 up. What do you mean 3? It's 2-0 still. Anyways, moving on to Yuri and Timba. What are we saying about Timba? What are we saying about Yuri and Timba? Solid defensively. Did some good job going forward. Has a very dangerous shot, kinda. I'm gonna give Yuri and Timba, I don't know, an 8. Is it fair to give Yuri and Timber an 8? I think I'm gonna give Yuri and Timber an 8. Yeah, Fusion is agreeing. Yuri and Timber gets an 8. Anjo gives 7. Yeah, for me, basically, it's 7.5. And since I don't do 0.5s, since it's in my head, it's 0.5 with mathematics, how it goes, I kind of rounding it up. Yeah, solid, but nothing special. Maryland is giving 8 as well. So we are in the same ballpark, basically. Saliba. William Saliba. Saliba. Played in the midfield partially. Playing the midfield partially for some part of the game. Not sure why, but I guess Mikel Arteta won it that way. Yeah, Atletico Madrid are 2-0 up. They just scored. I saw. Oh, no, it's VAR. Oh, no, it is 2-0. Never mind. It's 2-0. Not sure who scored, though. 2-0. Griezmann has scored. 2-0. 2-0 Griezmann. So Saliba, for me, gets a 7. For me, I'm giving Saliba 7. Yeah, so Saliba had a decent performance. He didn't have to do also anything special. Yes, our team defended, but it wasn't anything out of extraordinary. Let's just put it that way. It wasn't anything out of extraordinary. I'm going to say it as that much. Fusion is giving 6 to Saliba. Interesting. I was torn between 6 and 7. Gabriel Magalhaes. Big Gabi. A guy who should be potentially captain of Arsenal, in my opinion. Decent performance, defensively, offensively. Made a brilliant tackle from the cross, which definitely blocked the shot and then allowed the attacker to take a shot on target at all. And when the Raya afterwards collectively, calmly collected the ball. So I'm going to give Gabriel an 8. I'm going to give Gabriel Magalhaes an 8. I'm going to give him an 8. 8 for Gabi, did the thing. Yeah, exactly. Gabi gets 7. Yeah, if you give Yuri and Timber an 8, then giving Gabriel a 7 kind of doesn't do justice to Gabriel, in my opinion. I'm going to give 7. Gabriel was solid. Yeah, I'm going to give Gabriel an 8. I'm giving an 8. Okay, Piero Hincapié. Man like Piero. Man like Piero. For me, it's very hard to judge him because I'm still on the fence about Piero Hincapié because I haven't seen him enough, besides Bayern Munich, by Leverkusen, right? He did some good things, but he definitely had some blunders without shadow of a doubt. You can see that he's adjusting to the team, given the fact that he was injured for quite a bit. You also can see, you can feel that. Let's just put it that way. I don't know. I'm gonna give Hincapié a 6. I'm gonna give Piero Hincapié a 6. I think that fair assessment to give Hincapié a 6. Is that fair? 6.5. 6 to 7, and that's no meme. Good speed, but there's space to evolve. Exactly. There is definitely some great big room for growth. Without shadow of a doubt, there is a big room for growth for him, definitely. Yeah, 6.5. See, people are in that ballpark as well. Christian Norgard. Christian Norgard got a yellow card. Had some moments. Had also some good moments. It was a bit of a roller coaster ride with what's its face with Norgard. They definitely had some those iffy moments. I'm just running through the game in my head, trying to remember what the players did. I'm gonna give Norgard a 6. I'm gonna give Norgard a 6 because also one of the reasons why, because he doesn't get game time, and to expect a player to be sublime, fantastic, phenomenal when he's out of game practice, besides a cup game or random 10-minute spells, or even if he gets that, I think it's unfair to some extent. And you could see that he's rusty still, but he had some good moments. The yellows, I'm going to give him a 6. I'm going to give him a 6. Norgard 5 or 6. Norgard a 6. Yeah, like Gattuso said. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Yeah, Norgard 5. See, Fusion is giving 5. Interesting. Declan Rice. Declan Rice. Just like against Burnley, he was everywhere. The set piece deliveries were decent. It wasn't as precise as it was against Burnley. Maybe there was something off with that. Maybe they prepared more specifically for these instances, right? But overall, I'm not gonna lie. I think Declan. I'm going to give Declan an 8. I'm going to give Declan Rice an 8 for the performance today. I'm giving Declan Rice an 8. I think that should be fair. The Rice 7, barely. I think Rice 8. See, again, 7 or 8. It's again split decisions. I'm not giving 0.5, so I think I'm going to give him an 8. Ethan Vanieri. Start the game, which is great for him. But I'm not gonna lie, Ethan didn't have the greatest of games. He definitely had some blunders. He wasn't on it as he used to be. Off the bench, he looks better at the moment, at least for me. Hence why he also doesn't start, because Eze starts also in the 10 or Odegaard. With Ethan, like he wasn't anything special, and even the basic things he did, sometimes he was a bit like underwhelming. Let's just put it that way. I think, I don't know, 5 or 6. I'm kind of torn between 5 and 6. I'm torn in those 5 or 6. Ethan 5, 6. Yeah, see, 5 and 6, something like that. People are also split in this. Let's go to Leandro Trossard. Good assist for Merino's first goal. He was a bit shaky in the beginning, but overall he found himself in the game. He was, again, doing everything to some extent, like most of our players do. I think I'm going to give Trossard a 7. I'm definitely going to give him a very solid, strong 7. Maybe like 7.4. And since I don't do 0.4s and 0.5s and all this stuff, I'm going to give Trossard a 7. I think 7 is fair for Trossard. He wasn't anything exceptional, but he also wasn't poor. Plus, he got an assist. He created some chances. Bayern Munich has a red card, by the way. Why did nobody tell me that? Why did nobody tell me that Bayern Munich has a red card? By the way, a bit of side note for this game. 2-0 Bayern Munich, right? Luis Diaz scores 2 goals, gets a red card in the first half. Right? Olise got an assist. Claire is probably super happy about that. Do you see what's happening to Paris Saint-Germain? Do you see what's happening to PSG? Dembele is injured, and Hakimi as well is injured and forcefully subbed off. Hakimi and Dembele injured. That could shape the whole. If those are bigger injuries, not like 1 weekers, 2 weekers, internationals coming up, but if it's like a month, 2 months, it definitely can damage PSG because they have not been convincing in the league as well this season. I'm not sure how PSG and Luis Enrique are gonna figure this one out, but definitely there is something to it. There is something to it. Yeah, it's not great in that regard. But yeah. Luis Diaz, 2 goals and a red. Hey, look at the bright side. Luis Diaz is missing Arsenal game. He's not going to be available for the Arsenal game, people. Look at it that way. Most likely, who will they have on the left wing? Gnabry, most likely, something like that. Or Olise, most likely Gnabry. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, Diaz is not available for the Arsenal game right now because he picked up a red. Happy days. happy days from that point of view. Anyways, back to player ratings. Big up Hyper Protagonist. Big up. Hope you're doing well today, my bro. Bukayo Saka. It's very hard to rate him. I'm not gonna lie. I want to look at the positive sides, positive inklings, but it's very, very, very hard. Because, yes, he had like 6-7 shots on target, most in his career in a single game. He scored the penalty. He was more aggressive. He was in different spaces. He finished the game at the left wing because Max Dowman was playing right wing. He scored the penalty. When he took some long shots, you kind of looked like he has lost some strength into his foot, if that sounds logical, because it wasn't struck with the same venom as it was struck before with the same power. It felt weaker. It felt a bit discombobulated, if you get what I mean, right? So kind of hard to basically judge Bukayo Saka on those merits. But I'm going to give Bukayo Saka a 6. And I don't know if people will agree with me or not, but I'm going to give Bukayo Saka a 6. Yeah, Andrew is saying a 6. Fusion is saying 6. And I like Saka, exactly. But he seems a bit limited. I wonder by what. That's the thing. It could be the injuries because he's still feeling effects. It might be psychological aspect as well because he's not over it. He's a bit afraid. Might be already he's playing with some World Cup thoughts in his head. Or it could be also Mikel Arteta, of course. There are a lot of factors that could contribute to that. Now, let's talk about the big dog, the big guy up top. Mikel Merino, Mikel Nazario. Up top, the number 9 of Arsenal, scores 2 goals. Great finish from Trossard's assist and some random header, which I didn't expect him to score, and it came out of nowhere. A guy who at striker is better than in the midfield, which also seems very, 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 very weird. I'm not going to lie, given that the first time he's played striker was at Arsenal last season. when shit hit the fan. So I don't know what to give to him. I genuinely don't know what to give to him. Purely on goals, most likely, he's gonna be man of the match on all the sofa scores, flash scores, FOT mobs, and all these places, right? For me, man of the match, ironically enough, is Declan Rice. Whether you agree with me or not, that's a different story, of course. But I'm gonna give Merino an 8. I think I'm gonna give Merino an 8. I think that would be fair. Saka is washing up, needs to be sold. And he is about to get 300 grand a week contract. Not sure that's gonna happen. Merino, that moment I cuss him twice this day, yeah. But maybe that's the reverse psychology that works for us. Cuss him out and he scores, 8. He was the best moment at the best place. And that is the thing. Some strikers don't have that they are where they should be. The right place, the right time, right? And somehow Merino is in those right places at the right time. So there's definitely some striker instincts into him, which, credit to Mikel Arteta to some extent, has unlocked. Even it's been a tiny bit, like if you have, let's say, 10 levels, he has unlocked it to a level 5, level 6, maybe. But yeah, he has unlocked them, which is kind of nuts. Merino, Bierhoff, 8. Yeah, but yeah, I think that's fair. Slavia, 0 shots on target. Yeah, this is nuts. Do they have really 0 shots on target? Because I think they got a shot on target in the last seconds, didn't they? Where are the stats? Yeah, see? See? Shots on target. 1. They got a goddamn shot on target. Ironic. It's annoying as well. The nuts part is, we as Arsenal fans at the moment are getting annoyed with the fact that our opponents even get a shot on target. That is the wildest part to me. Because when there was that VAR check for penalty, I was worried we're going to lose the clean sheet. Then we are worried that they're going to get shots on target. I know it's all fine and funny. At the same time, there's actually some sort of a concern to some extent. It's insane even to think that how this team has grown and how this team has changed, that we are starting to get a bit worried about it. It's actually kind of nuts. Our defense is goated, yeah. In my opinion, he's bare versus good oppositions. If it's a low block, it's curtains, although Slavia can't be considered a good opposition, but still Merino is silent most of the times when he... Yeah, but it's in the midfield. Big up, Godfrey. Big up, Godfrey. Hope you're doing well. Love the thumbnail. Big up. You like this one, yeah? You like this one, right? Merino Nazario. Big up to Merino, man. Big up to Mikel Merino, But yeah, Merino signed all the time. He just gets some lucky chances and scores. But the thing is, you have to create your own luck. You have to make those runs. You have to be in that position. And after the pass, the cross you get, you also have to finish them. And he actually is doing it, which is actually the nuts part overall of this. Because you actually could make a strong argument that if it was Havertz or somebody else, they would miss it. That is the nuts part. Me as an Arsenal fan, I'm getting annoyed with our Arteta Pokemon injury hunt. He's legit collecting them. Don't even get me on those injuries. Don't even. Anyways, some few players that came on. Player ratings. Ben White. What are we giving Ben White? What are we giving to Ben White? I don't know. I'm giving Ben White a 6. I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I'm giving Ben White a 6. Merino tries to get to every ball and was rewarded. Exactly, and he does that most of the time as well. He tries to get to every single ball, and he gets rewarded by it. Some players just give up. They don't go into those battles. They don't make those runs, which is kind of weird. Standard 5, 6. Yeah, Ebrechese as well. Sadly enough, he didn't have the best of games coming off the bench. I think I'm giving him 5 as well. I'm thinking I'm giving him 5 as well. Big up Mubarak. Big up Mubarak. Hope you're doing well today, my bro. I'm giving Ebrecheze as well a 5. Like nothing unique, nothing special. Like it was a bit worrying how uninterested he looked at times. But that's the thing. Like as the Crystal Palace fan, Kev, who's also in the stream sometimes, right? He's always saying that Eze is too relaxed. He's cruising because he has nobody that can push him out of the squad. And you kind of can see the reasons why, because Odegaard is out. He's not scheduled to be back for another 3-4 weeks, something like that. So he kind of is in that cruise mode a tiny bit. Let's just put it that way. The game was done after the third, exactly. Skelly. Miles Lewis Skelly. What are we giving to Skelly? What are we giving to Miles Lewis Skelly? Because that performance from Skelly was definitely questionable. For me, at least. What are we giving to Skelly? Miles Lewis Skelly. 5, 4. What are we giving to Skelly? That yellow card also didn't help the cause. I'm not going to lie. That yellow card definitely didn't help the cause. When you come on for about... How many minutes did Skelly play? Where is... how many minutes did Skelly play? Miles Lewis Skelly. He came on 73rd. Skelly played 17 minutes. Well, it included added time. Skelly played 19 minutes. And he got a yellow card. It's not great. I think I'm going to give him a 5. I think I'm going to give him a 5. Yeah, see, 5. Skelly gets a 6. Max Dowman. Max Dowman. Fusion is giving him a 6. What are we giving to Max Dowman? Max Dowman. What are we giving to him? Max Dowman. Because when he was playing, he had defenders on toast, to say the least. He had defenders on toast. I just wish he could actually get some chances to score more. But yeah, he always creates. He always tries to create something. Always forward thinking. Takes responsibility. What are we giving to Max Dowman? What are we giving to Max Dowman? Because I don't know, 6 as well. Like Fusion is saying 6 to Max Dowman, I think could be fair. I think 6 could be fair to Max Dowman. Oh, for overall, he played as well 17 minutes. He came on at the same time as Skelly. Yeah, Godfrey is getting 5. I get the reasons why. I'm kind of inching towards 6. 6. Anusha, I'm not gonna rate. Anusha, I'm not gonna, because he played only like 9 minutes, so cannot even give him some proper game time in that regard. So yeah, Anusha is not getting anything. Courtois doing some acrobatics. Well, that's Courtois for you. If he's on game, you are in big trouble. Eze, like it or not, he's on vacation and he's actually the player of the moment. He'll pick up the moment, but he'll be flat most of the time. Yeah, it feels that way at times. Definitely feels that way at times. He scored when we needed a goal, but sometimes he just cruises and everything. It is like that. Like Anonymous, you can be a strinker, but he kind of shows up when you need him the most at times as well, which is very, very important to have sometimes in players. Courtois is saving Real Madrid big time, just like that final against Liverpool. Remember that one? Remember that final where Courtois was standing on his head, basically, when they had and Real Madrid just won on counters and all this stuff. Big up Beggy. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well today. Nice win. We could have done better, but 3 points in the bag, and that's what we need. Exactly. At the end of the day, three points are on the board. Nothing more you can ask for. Nothing more. Obviously, you could ask for performance if you look from that perspective. At the same time, as long as you get wins, it kind of is a bit irrelevant. Let's just put it that way. To some extent. You cannot say it overall, but to some extent. And yeah, this is the Champions League table currently. Whoa, this is the Champions League table currently. Wrong picture, sorry. Champions League table. Live Champions League table, people. Live Champions League table at the moment. Best goalkeeper in the world for me? Yeah, I would say that. I definitely would say that. If he's injury-free, he's playing, he's definitely for me as well. best goalkeeper. Obviously, you could put Alisson has not been the same. And that's about it. There's nothing else to talk about in that regard. But this is the Champions League live table currently if the results would be done right now at this stage. Interestingly enough, Spurs, who won the Europa League currently, are in the top 8. They are in that spot to automatically qualify. Obviously, City haven't played the game and everything. So we'll see how that's going to develop. But yeah, I don't know who to worship now. Robo, MM9 or the don't. Definitely you need to worship this guy. It has to be him. It has to be him. He is the Lord and Savior and all this stuff. Let's be real. He is the one. He's the chosen one, as they say. He's gonna carry us throughout the season when Gyökeres is out and Havertz is not available. He's gonna be the leader, the savior, the Messiah, the wise man. But yeah, Arsenal have done their job. Nothing more to worry about. 12 points, 11 goals, 4 games. No goals conceded as of yet, which is also very great. Let's be real. Let's see what the weekend brings, because on the weekend, of course, we are playing against Sunderland. On the weekend, we are playing against Sunderland. When is that game? On Sunday? Oh, no, on Saturday. Late kickoff as well. Just before I go live, the game finishes, which is very nice for me as well. But yeah, we played Sunderland. And yeah, that game also has lots of stuff riding on it. Let's just put it that way. We need to finish on a bang. We need to finish on the bang. Raya keep doing these dumb things, but somehow we don't concede. Yeah, we got lucky that we didn't concede to some extent. The ball could have bounced either way. But I feel also Raya called that Ramsdale syndrome. You know that Ramsdale looks at pigeons and all this stuff. Raya also kind of feels like he gets bored in goal sometimes because, well, he has nothing to do. They cannot get shot on target. If he's lucky, he gets the ball when he gets passed backwards. Lord Merino, yeah, could get knighthood as well. Well, so we're done with Havertz, or it's Gyökeres who is going back to the gym. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't even know what's happening with Gyökeres, because the latest news, what that came out today, is the fact that Gyökeres, nobody has any idea yet. Arsenal are hopeful that he's going to be back for Spurs game after international break, but they still haven't completed all the scans. They don't know the extent and what exactly it is. So go figure. Maybe Arteta will shed some light before Sunderland game. Maybe we're going to get some news during the week, but for now it's kind of I just do it that way. To be fair, he does them 1 in 10 games. At the moment, yeah. Real Madrid against Liverpool still 0-0. How is the game looking? Because it sounds hella boring. Oh, it's not that boring, but yeah, Liverpool are kind of on top of the game. Let's just put it that way. Maybe they should be up, but hey. Who thought Sunderland will be one of the hard games? Yeah, exactly. Because after October international break, we were looking at the games, and I said that Atletico Madrid, right, is going to be, and Brighton at home in the cup are going to be the tough games. Turns out that Crystal Palace and Sunderland are the tough games at the end of the day, whether you like it or not. And also, of course, as well, that, of course, Brighton as well to some extent. It's all mind games. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, Gyökeres is out for 3 months, right? It's all mind games until it's 3-month injury and everyone's crying and everything goes down the drain, right? Like, obviously, everything Arteta says you have to take with some pinch of salt, but also kind of like expect the best but prepare for the worst type of situation, kind of, let's be real. And we'll see how that's going to go to some extent. With Arteta, Arsenal, and injuries, it kind of feels that way. Prepare for the best, but expect the worst. Because knowing our track record with all this stuff, it's not great many times as well. Obviously, it has been some good moments, but most of the time, let's be real, it's not great. So, what is Champions League saying? Spurs are 2-0 up against Copenhagen and Spurs have a red card. Brennan Johnson got a straight red as well. Freaking hell. What are they doing there? Madrid 1-0 up against Royal Union. Bodo Glimt losing to Monaco 1-0. Juventus Sporting 1-1. Liverpool Madrid 0-0. Olympiacos 1-0 over PSV. PSG still losing 2-0 against Bayern Munich, and Munich has a red card. And as I said, Spurs are 2-0 up against Copenhagen, and Spurs have a red card as well. Low-key, just saying, low-key hoping that Copenhagen score a goal very, very soon, and this game gets very interesting. I'm not gonna lie, I'm hoping for that. Would love to see like an underdog story and Copenhagen come out on top. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, today's big story, Mikel Merino Nazario. Scores 2 goals and carries Arsenal. Well, we got Merino who needs Gyökeres. If I hear something like this, it will be insane. Well, we heard that last year. Who needs Havertz? Who needs this? Who needs that? We have Merino up top. This year, like, people already were screaming to drop Gyökeres for Havertz as soon as he's back. Now we're going to hear also drop Gyökeres for Merino. Like, it's nothing new. It's Arsenal. Entertaining game, that Liverpool versus Real Madrid, but also draw AF. Yeah, that game needs a goal. That game needs a goal. And preferably, it needs Liverpool goal. So Real Madrid tried to do something in ideal world. Maybe actually Real Madrid goal, so Liverpool maybe even start to pepper them more, and Real Madrid could try and counter quite a bit. Depends. Obviously depends. But yeah, people, I think on that note, we're going to end today's stream. Hope you are happy that Arsenal won. Hope you have had a great day. Hopefully, I also going to see you all tomorrow. But don't forget to like the stream. Don't forget to subscribe. And all that good stuff. Enjoy the Champions League right now. And hopefully going to see you all very, very, very soon. Peace.